All right, so my panels are all stretched now. I wet them on the back, and then they dried, and when they dried, they got all nice and tight. You can play them like a drum. So now I'm gonna seal them, and that'll make this rough kind of, economy surface into a really good painting surface. So the way I do that is I use my ultra white flat latex paint, house paint, and I always save my hotel cards when you travel. So that's what I use to apply the paint to the back of the canvas. So I'll do the backs of these first, and then I'll come back around when they dry and do the fronts. So you got to kind of jab it into the corner, get some on one side of it, and then you put it underneath the wood frame into the corner so that you're actually getting a good coat of paint all the way around below the frame and the stretcher. So usually you can just dip it once and do a whole corner, and this hotel card just works like a squeegee and lays a nice even coat. And for my base, or to keep my table clear, I just grab a shipping box, which you can get from the post office, and use that as my throwaway table saver. So I don't have to, if I spill paint, I can just throw it away. So that just kind of saves you the time having to do a big cleanup later. And I guess if you still needed to use it for shipping something, you wouldn't matter if there's a bunch of white paint on the inside of the box. So they're just real handy to use. So kind of repurposing materials best I can with my hotel cards and my shipping boxes. But you can see it only takes me a minute to put a nice coating on the back side of each panel. When I buy these, they usually come in it's weird, they come in a 7-pack. I don't know why. But I guess in case you mess up a painting, you still get a half a dozen good ones. So there, now that's coated, I'll set it down here to dry with my other ones. So I've just got a floor heater just blowing some hot air on them. And this turns into a pretty quick job. You just get a coat on there. Each dip should get you a quarter of the painting done. And when this dries, it keeps the canvas from getting loose again, but it also gives you a nice clean surface that's easy to make notes on and stuff. So on the back of my art, I can use this as like a worksheet to write down anything that's important, where I painted it, what materials I'm using, or what the mood was for the day. Just kind of like a little diary of what I was doing that day, what colors I used or special effects I tried. And that way it's kind of has the whole history, the provenance of the art right from the start. But yeah, you basically got a full sheet of blank paper to write on here. And the other thing is, I've seen people sign their names with like a Sharpie on the back of their art. And if you do that with a standard canvas, there's a potential it could bleed through over the years. So 20 years later, you have a big Sharpie signature right across the back of your sky or something. So this gives you kind of a good surface that you can use to make notes and sign it or document the art, and that whatever you do won't bleed through to the image you put on the front. One more here. And hopefully by the time this one's done, the first one I painted will be dry enough I can just turn it over and coat the front side as well. And so basically in one effort, you can get out the white paint and get everything all taken care of on both sides. Then that bucket of white paint I just keep on the base of my easel, just as a counterweight to keep it from being off balance. So it's kind of, you always need something heavy at the base of your easel. So gives it a good place to keep it too. All right, one more edge here, and then we'll turn one over and do the front. That way you'll get the whole idea how I personally prepare economy canvases to be a very good high quality surface that really this flat paint really soaks in the colors and everything of your oil paints. It's a really good binder to make give yourself some good surface and good contact, and it also helps, it absorbs the oils better than just the bare canvas that you buy, so you don't get like shiny spots. It gives a real nice even finish. So yeah, so this one's pretty much dry now, and it soaks in to where you can hardly tell you even painted it. But then I'll just do the same on the front. I don't know if you can get an idea of the texture I'm getting. Let's see if I can get the right angle here. Yeah, there you go. But it's nice because it really fills in the grain of the linen, and it makes it more of like a plaster wall surface that you're painting on instead of just a canvas material. So it's really, I really like the effect that it gives it, and all of this paint will actually soak in to where a lot of the canvas texture still comes through. But I think having that stucco wall kind of texture, it adds a little more depth to the image, whatever you're drawing or painting. I use these for charcoal drawings as well. Just gives you a more artsy surface to work on, and makes your brush strokes really kind of lay on top of the canvas instead of fighting the little bumps and dimples and stuff of the canvas texture. So I don't worry too much about the outside edges. But yeah, I just want to have a decent coat on there, and you know, if it ends up having like a funky finish or something, a dimple or something here, I just drip some. You can always just sand it down and put a second coat. But usually I can get it all a nice decent finish in one coat. Call that one good enough. Yeah, so this, once it dries, will be ready for doing any kind of art on there, and it gives you a really nice quality surface to work with that really absorbs the paints and or the charcoal. So that's my next step. So next thing I would do is set up and start painting.